The deafening gunshot exploded through the quiet of the forest, causing my ears to ring with tinnitus. I flinched, closing my eyes and bracing for the impact. But I didn't feel any pain. Slowly opened my eyes, throwing my arms down, and watched in utter shock as a hunter was violently thrown clean off his mount by an unseen force. A heavy blur had collided with him midair. His firearm went flying, knocked completely out of his hands, clattering uselessly into the brush. Seeing my opening, I scrambled to my feet and made a desperate dash for it. But the black beast was infinitely faster than me. In a single ground-shaking bound, Ember cut through the shadows and blocked my path, completely cutting off my escape route. Her hackles raised to the sky as a sinister vibrating snarl erupted from the depths of her throat. She pawed at the muddy ground, flicking her long tongue through her teeth, revealing a pink gum line, letting strings of thick saliva drip from her wicked fangs. I began to circle the beast, keeping my eyes locked on her massive jaws, before suddenly darting in the opposite direction. Behind me, the shadows of the forest tore apart as piercing yelps of pure pain and desperate agonizing screams echoed into the night from the hunter.
Ember, help me.
The hunter pleaded, his cocky facade completely shattered to sheer panic. Monstrous Black Wolf mainly shook her head as if being conflicted and confused by his demands. Ignoring his commands, she glanced back at the human who was currently being violently constrained by timber wolves. Two massive wolves had clenched their jaws onto the man's arms, pinning him flat by putting their full weight of their 150-pound bodies directly on each of its wrists. Ember snapped her attention back to me. Her deep, blood-red eyes caught my glare. Adrenaline had obliterated my fear. I raised my weapon, and I charged directly at her, pointing a sharp, fractured end of my makeshift javelin straight towards her chest. She snobbed brutally, bowing her head towards me as she lunged. Chunks of dark earth flew through the air as her jolt of black fur blended seamlessly into the midnight background. If it wasn't for her glowing devilish eyes acting as a beacon in the dark, I wouldn't have stood a single chance against this monster. The moment she closed the distance, I immediately ducked and executed a hard roll across the forest floor, avoiding her crushing jaws. Her jagged claws whizzed by only inches away from my face. Ember skidded to a violent halt in the mud, snorting in frustration, before instantly lunging at me again. As I scrambled to my feet, I heard her massive teeth clench shut right next to my head, the sharp enamel brutally grazing the edge of my earlobe. Over in the shadows, the pinned hunter jeered, trying to cheer his monster on, but his shot was quickly by a horrific yelp of pure pain as the timber wolves dug their teeth deeper into his arms, silencing him. Ember stopped, staring me down. She curled her lips back, showing off her wicked fangs before letting out a low, vibrating growl of dark determination. I clenched my stick even tighter, my knuckles turning white. I aimed a sharp, broken end directly for her throat, holding it like a pole vaulter aiming for his life-or-death goal. I charged, but the beast was too fast. She dodged, thrust, and swatted her massive paw downward. Her sharp claws raked viciously against my side, slicing clean through my clothes and leaving deep, agonizing grooves right across my chest. I stumbled backwards, standing up with agonizing difficulty. I was breathing hard, my vision tunneling as I felt faint from the sheer exhaustion of the battle and the trauma of my newly obtained wounds. Fresh blood soaked through my shirt. Still, I stumbled toward her wearily, driven by pure primal determination to survive. Hunter yelled out again with a cheer of devilish delight at my injury, but the forest once again silenced him with another sickening shriek of pain. Gathering the very last of my strength, I charged Ember. One final time, the massive black wolf charged right back, her jaws opened wide to swallow my upper body whole. But just before her teeth could pierce my flesh, something massive and heavy violently slammed into my side, throwing me completely out of the way. It was the white wolf. The large white female snarled ferociously and tackled the black demon to the ground. Vicious, blood-curdling snarls broke the absolute tranquility of the night as the two titans clashed. Terrified for my protector, I tried to stumble forward toward the white wolf to help her, but I was instantly pushed back down by a firm but gentle paw. The alpha, a gray wolf, had stepped in, physically pinning me to the earth to protect me from the glass fire at the ferocious dogfight. There's nothing I could do. I was forced to watch. The brutal fight raged without mercy until the absolute break of dawn, as the first pale rays of the sun peeked over the horizon, painting the misty forest in cold gray light, and witnessed the horrific, sickening conclusion to the battle. Ember managed to gain the upper hand. With terrifying speed, the black wolf lashed her massive jaws deep, scruff of the white wolf's neck, and violently twisting her head. A piercing, agonizing yelp echoed through the trees, instantly cut short by a terrifying, resounding crack. A black wolf released her grip, driving the white wolf's massive body into the dirt. She was dead. Thick, crimson blood erupted from the deep puncture wounds in her neck, staining her pristine white coat. The demon wasn't finished. Ember laid her heavy body down and began to ruthlessly roll over the white wolf's corpse, crushing bones and aggressively marking her scent over a fresh kill in the display of absolute dominance. Finally, the black monster stood up. She shook her dark pelt, rattling the dry blood and dirt from her fur. She calmly walked back into the thick of the underbrush, vanishing into the shadows. She didn't even bother to glance back at her master. She left the hunter lying there in the mud, unconscious, broken, and completely abandoned in the dirt.